Well, my birth certificate, let me start there. My birth certificate says Neman Talel Silayio Kelelwe Kiriswa.
Yeah.
So I'm a Maasai connected to all my ancestors. Well, I'm a musician, I'm a performing artist, performing recording artist for all my adult life. Neman Talel is the brand that I went by for a very long time in my life. And I have recently evolved and have picked up my third name, which is Silayio. And so now I am Silayio. This is the name the whole world has seen because I was recently on a competition, singing competition called The Voice in the Netherlands, The Voice of Holland, which was awesome, life-changing, exhausting, mind-blowing. Got to the semifinals, which was the furthest any foreigner has ever been on the show. So, yeah. My first interaction with depression, I feel like depression's an old friend. I think when I was a teen, I had a rough relationship with a guardian in my life. I'm going to be cautious. And that triggered me when I was in high school. So that was the first time I would be sad for weeks and not understand or loosely connected to the broken relationship, the abuse that I felt that I was suffering at the time. Did not know what to do with it. My family did not know what to do with it. So we just call it Nema has the blues. She's got the blues. The blues have come, and it's been a battle on and off my entire adult life. And I've only come to acknowledge that it's depression and a battle very late, because for most of that time, I was deeply religious. And so we call it other names. It's what we do here. We call it other names. We fix it with music, worship music, or, people will pray. And it's always kind and well-meaning. But because I then would not seek the right help, or it kept rolling. I think this is the first time I'm going to tell this in detail, actually. Well, in front of a camera. It was 2015, and I was working at Mavuno Church, home. I love it, love my peeps. And then I got a phone call from my manager in the Netherlands, who also happens to be one of my closest friends. And she said that they'd found some emails about her sister. Her sister's trying to buy some drugs so that she could take her life. And at the end of that year, she called me in June, and in October I was going on tour back to the Netherlands, so I would have been there. Her scheduled day was October the 8th. That was her plan. I went to the Netherlands, and long story short, she ended up committing suicide. And it messed with my brain deeply. Everything came crashing down. I started questioning everything. I started questioning the truth about it. I started questioning, am I right? Am I wrong? Is religion a thing? And so I'm having the intellectual discussion in my brain and reading and talking with friends and everything. But what's happening to me psychologically is my safe haven, the place where I am, where I go, my identity, my everything was collapsing. And that was hard. That was really hard. And then I came home. I was like, first, I will make no decisions about anything, about my job, about my family. I'm not even going to tell anybody that, anything's changed, because I don't know. Inaweza kuwa ni ujinga wa wazungu, ujinga ya uzunguni, It's like, let me go home. It might just reset by itself. I remember I came home on a Monday, and the next day we always had our staff meeting, which was awesome because we'd always start with prayer and with worship music, and you just feel connected. And I remember going for that and just feeling like empty. And I remember saying to Pastor, I feel like the thing inside of me that used to completely agree, that used to completely be one with what's happening here is missing. And so I quit my job because I felt like I couldn't fake it. My job at that point was to help other people believe as a worship pastor. Like, how am I going to help other people believe when I don't know what I believe? I felt like I was free falling. And then just went like nose dive head first into the worst time of my life. I would wake up in the morning and the first thing I feel is a knot in my stomach, which is the anxiety and just the terror of being alive. And it's not based in anything. My life is fine. There's food in my pantry. There's a roof over my head. It's not connected to anything tangible. But you're just empty and afraid. And then nothing is interesting. I didn't want to see anybody. I didn't want to sing. I went for a period of about a month. I didn't even sing in the house. I sing almost every day. Even it's in the shower, if I'm doing dishes, whatever it is, I'm going to sing or I'm going to listen to music. It's a loss of interest in life completely. How we talk about depression in our community, I would talk to myself like that. These are the things I would say to myself. You're being weak. You've got to get your shit together. You need to get up, but you can't. And it's hard to explain. Yeah. It's just, I call it life juice. I'm just like, I have no life juice for it, you know? And it gets dangerous when it's also a loss of hope completely for anything in the future. For if someone says it's going to get better and you just are not able to see it. I have great family relationships. With my sisters and my dad is very close. And so it was easy for them to notice, whoa, this is going bad. And once I was able to explain it to them and once they were able to see it, because when it got really bad, my sisters came to my house. And I never used to let anybody into my house when I was in that space because my house is messy and everything is ugly. I'm ugly, I'm unclean and unkempt and my house is in chaos and I don't want anybody to see that ugliness. But I had to trust them. So I feel like also that's a really big deal, is to find somebody and choose to trust them. I chose to trust my sisters. Yeah. You know, I chose to trust my best friend and let them in. And when they lived with me, then they saw it. They saw what that moment looks like and then they've deliberately, and we've all done it together with each other, deliberately learn about mental health, deliberately learn what do they say? What does the science say about anxiety? And what are the good things? You know, so we learn together, this is what we should be eating, this is what we should be drinking, we should definitely be seeing somebody, we should, you know. So we've evolved together. And so, I don't know, I guess, use your words. Yeah. It's as hard as it is, and it takes a lot. And also, I think, for me, I was lucky because my people also broke through, you know, intentionally. Yeah, and so if you have, and this would be something for the families and the best friends and force your way in. Even when we are scared, even when the depressed person is scary and is loud or is crying nonstop for hours, or force your way in and sit with them, you know. Yeah, and sometimes just somebody acknowledging, I see your pain. Yeah, oh man, it's a big deal. And so reassuring somebody. And meaning it and saying, no, please tell me your drama. I'm going to sit here. I'm not going to get tired. I'm not going to be, and my friends do it all the time. And my sisters do it. I'm not tired. I'm not tired. And it teaches you, and I can do it now for somebody else as well. Coming through that entire period, my big revelation in my relationships was that, oh, I am loved more than I thought that I was. Because I was completely certain it would be exhausting, because it can be exhausting. This is also the truth. It's not fun to be constantly around somebody that's blue, you know? It's more fun to be around people that are like full of life and jokes and, you know? So, very affirming. I definitely think putting on a face and faking it through the day is dangerous, you know? See somebody. One thing, I'm a believer in therapy, guys. Just the brain is like the arm. Is like the heart. It is an organ of your body, and sometimes it gets broken. You have hormonal imbalances, you have chemical imbalances, and those things actually happen, and not acknowledging them and putting on the face. Like I remember seeing a video, putting on the face and walking out of your house, it doesn't do anything. It's a band-aid and you have to live with it. And so it might be awkward in your life for a period of time while you're yourself and trying to get it fixed, but do it. It's worth it. Be honest with the people who love you. See somebody, don't fake it. Don't fake it. Don't fake it. I mean, do the job. If it means you're doing the job with a frown, like, do your job. Do your job as much as you can, but confront it. Like the fear doesn't go away until you completely face it. So, like as a general rule for life, just treat others like you'd like to be treated. And so being aware of somebody else's sadness, and we all get sad. Everybody knows what sadness feels like. Everybody knows what grief, the depths of grief feels like. And depression can feel like grief. It can feel like somebody died, and even though nobody has died. So just think about that intensity of pain. In that moment when you're grieving somebody, you do not want somebody to tell you, no, here's a worship album. This is all you need to do. And worship album works. It will make you feel better, but it's not going to fix it. It doesn't make it go away, you know? It can relieve the wound for a time. Or say things like, you just have to pick yourself up, or even things which are well-meaning, like, no, it always get better. It always especially when you're in the middle of it, you're like, my friend, are you sure? Are you sure it's going to get better? Because what it makes a depressed person feel is guilt. It makes you feel like, I'm not doing something. I'm the one who's messing up. I'm the one who's not strong enough. I'm the one who's pulling everybody down, It doesn't help the situation at all. So patience, kind words, I feel like most of the stigma comes from a lack of understanding. There was a time in our history when somebody got, tuberculosis, we would call it, it would be witchcraft. Or if there was a particular family and they always had, maybe they were schizo or something, we would give it names and stigmatize it, but we didn't know. We didn't know that, imagine sometimes people get meningitis and then your brain swells and then you die. It's actually something that's happening in your physical body. But now we have the science to understand that mental health is a thing. It's tangible, it's real. And so read a little bit about it. Try to understand a little bit about it. I stopped with the shame. I stopped with the shame with everything for me. Unlike life, there's no time in life to feel shame for being ill. You're not going to shame somebody with cancer because their body is letting them down. You're not going to shame somebody for having the flu. So why do we shame people for having a bad mood? Even if the flu will pass in a week, it's possible the mood will pass in a week. Just give them chicken soup and hugs. And walk with them, and be the crutch. Next time, pia wewe utahitaji hiyo usaidizi. And and therapy is not only for, it's not just for people who are like, you're now suicidal. Don't wait until it gets there. Process your shit. Because life happens to all of us. Wounds happen to all of us. Family relationships are difficult. Romantic relationships are difficult. Work is hard. The economy is shit. Everybody's struggling. These are hard things. But in our African culture, we don't process anything. Our parents never had conversations of, this is how I feel. You fight on with it. But they're a different generation. We're growing up with different struggles. We are so aware of everything. We are so exposed to so many things. And so just to acknowledge the fact that these things happen to me and in me, and choose to deal with them. Just the way if you are having an ulcer, you're not going to be like, no, my stomach just needs to get up and do better. You're not going to say that to your tummy. So don't say it to your brain, Go see somebody, go see Nancy. Just one session, then talk it out. She's not going to tell anybody. She's bound by law. And guys as well. Guys have a higher suicide rate than females do. But that's because we females will tell our problems drunk in the bathroom to a stranger at a club. And then he said, and then you cry it out and then it's finished. But guys don't. You hold it. So if you do not have that community, if you don't have brothers with whom you speak, with whom you tell everything, tell it to a shrink. That's also fine. Tell it to a psychologist. Tell it to your pastor. You know, there are a lot of pastors who are trained specifically to also deal with psychological issues. Go sit with somebody who's not going to, you know, spread your business. But talk to somebody. Talk to me. I promise I'll pick up your call. Write to me on Facebook. And I mean it, because I know what it feels like to feel completely and deeply isolated by your pain. We judge each other so harshly. If when someone is going through something, when we're like, I don't know about you, and you're also going through the same thing, because no one is not feeling pain or sadness every once in a while. So be kind to one another and talk to somebody. Yeah.